refrigerator Perry, and just how hard he hit. And my mama told me homecoming games are the best. On the banks of those late fall, late cartwheel sunsets, I wanted to be just like Jeff Davis when I grew up, tackling Seminoles and Bulldogs, playing football in the mud. So everybody sing Tiger Rag at the top of your lungs, and we'll party like it's 1981. Make those Death Valley lights shine brighter. And for good luck, we got Howard's Rock to beat the hell out of them old Gamecocks. It's a damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. I feel really sorry for our sisters to the south, 'cause they come up here every other year and get punched in the mouth. Oh, and every home Saturday, it gives us the chills to watch those boys in orange run together down that hill. So everybody sing Tiger Rag at the top of your lungs, and we'll party like it's 1981. Make those Death Valley lights shine brighter. And for good luck, we got Howard's Rock to beat the hell out of them old Gamecocks. It's a damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. Oh, somewhere up in heaven, Gaines Adams makes a sack, and that old Banks McFadden is the best damn running back. So everybody sing Tiger Rag at the top of your lungs, and we'll party like it's 1981. Make those Death Valley lights shine brighter. And for good luck, we got Howard's Rock to beat the hell out of them old Gamecocks. It's a damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. It's a damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. Everybody, damn good day to be a Clemson Tiger. Oh yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Thursday to everybody. Fall is finally here. I mean, I don't know what part of the country. I know a lot of you guys are from all over the country, different parts of the country. But down here in South Carolina, southeastern South Carolina, it is 64 degrees right now. I mean, I couldn't tell you how happy I am about that. I mean, for a guy who lives in the South, I can't stand the heat. I mean, I don't want it to get too cold, but 65 degrees, I'm in heaven. There's several things I want to talk about today. Obviously, I want to talk about there's a NFL game tonight, Arizona and Denver, two pretty bad teams, but anyway, still a game. And also there's a college game tonight, Arizona State and Stanford. But before I get into the football talk, so I'm sure most of you, I realize there's probably not a lot of people in here right now, but so hopefully they'll see on the replay. So a lot of you guys know that I posted that thank you video a couple of days ago for my 1-year anniversary on YouTube. Now that was meant to be for the 1,000 subscriber mark, but listen, we're almost there. We'll be there by this weekend, and that's not really as important as the 1-year thing to me. And I mean, I wanted to have some sort of way to thank all of you guys. Believe me, that video, there was probably, I think I put maybe 10 or 12 content creator, other YouTubers in that video, and then over 40 of you subscribers who are always on here and have been supportive for a long time. I could easily put another 40 people in that video, but that just wasn't possible. So if you're one of the ones that wasn't in the video, believe me, I know who you are. If you've been here, if you're always in here, I know who the supporters are. And so I wasn't just thanking the people in that video. I was thanking everybody. I mean, believe me, if I could have put all 978 people in there, I would have done that. But obviously that's not possible. So that was my only way I could think of to thank you. I've been planning on doing a video like that to thank people individually for several months now, and so I finally got to do it. And I want to say this: the comments on that video from a lot of you were great, and you know, I just want to say thank you for the comments. They're some of you left some pretty moving comments on there. So thank all of you, even the ones who weren't featured in the video. Also, before I forget, so and we'll get into football in a second. Just bear with me. That's why we're all here, for football, not to hear me ramble on about meaningless crap. A lot of people have been asking me over the past couple of months, how can I contribute to the channel? Now, I've never gone and asked anybody for money, and I never will. I didn't start the channel for money. It's not what it's about. So once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll be able to apply for monetization, which means I'll be able to run ads on the videos, as well as do the super chat thing where you can donate live in the live streams. So once I hit 1,000 subscribers, that means I can apply for monetization. It still takes YouTube at least a minimum of 30 days to approve that monetization. So let's say I hit it this weekend. That puts us basically December before they actually approve it. If they approve it, believe me, I've had plenty of shortcomings with YouTube customer service. So I'm not even confident that they'll do it within 30 days. So anyway, what I did today was I set up a Patreon page for people who want to. Okay, that's it. Again, I'm not asking anybody to do anything they don't want to do, and believe me, I don't care one way or another if you, what I'm getting at is for people who want to go on Patreon, set up an account. It takes like 5 minutes. You can support the channel through the Patreon page. There's 3 different tiers on there. You go on there, you can read it. It's very clear and simple. So the link is in the description of this video. Or you can just go on Patreon and search for Pigskin Pete, content creator, and it'll take you to my page. So thank you in advance for anybody who does that. I'd appreciate it. Also. All right, so let's see who's in here real quick. Start talking about some football. Michael Brown, good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the stream. Miranda Dansby, my favorite damsel in distress. Tiger Nate, how you doing? Good afternoon, sir. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Otherwise, you would not be here. Clemson Carson, George Dawson never fails to disappoint, and of course he is here. Catfish from the Volunteer Roadshow. So I was on. Catfish had me on his live stream last night. It wasn't on YouTube though. It was on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook. I'm a YouTube guy, and I do Twitter. I have a Twitter account. But anyway, he had me on last night to talk about some games. And that was a lot of fun. We talked about Tennessee. We talked about Ohio State. We talked about Clemson and NC State. And a few other games, and that was a lot of fun. So thank you, Catfish. Catfish is a great guy and one of my favorite content creators by a long shot. Let's see, NCAA Tiger NFL. That's a hell of a name, sir. He says, Clemson 45, NC State 21. Well, I hope you're right, sir. I hope you're right. I'm a little bit more pessimistic than that. Now, listen, I think that Clemson, that could easily be the score. Coming off a bye week, NC State's also coming off a bye week, though, and NC State always scares me. But, yeah, I think we'll win the game, but I hope that score prediction that you made is right. You say Tiger Nate says he's going to the game this weekend. That's going to be one of the best games of the year in the Valley. I wish it was at night, but anyway, it's not. It's at 3:30. We'll take what we can get, right? Richard Neal, good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the stream. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. But yeah, the NC State game in the Valley is going to be rocking. It doesn't matter what time. Hell, they could have it at 8 a.m. It'd still be rocking. So, and I'll be there in a couple weeks. I'll be there on November 3rd for the Lousville game. And so, Tiger Nate, if you're in the area, I want to come by and say hello to me and Prince 6'1", Tiger Nation. And of course, the legendary Bobby Durkins. Can't wait to meet him. We'll all be there. And we'll be doing some videos from there, I'm sure, during the tailgating process. Catfish says, I have it on tape. You saying we will cover the spread. Yeah, well, it's on my channel too, sir. I said it on Tuesday stream. I think that Tennessee will cover the spread. 29 points is too much, even against Tennessee. No offense, but yeah, I think they'll cover the spread. But the fact that I think they'll cover the spread is probably bad news for you, because me against the spread, I'm about 50-50. So. Yes, Richard Neal, I'm doing great, sir. I'm amazing and fantastic, like always. Will I take the glasses off at 1,000 subscribers? I've taken the glasses off plenty of times. I'll go ahead and do it for you if you want to now. I mean, I'll even look right in the camera for you and give you a big thumbs up, sir, if that makes you happy. All right. So there you go. All right. All right, so let's talk about first of all, the NFL game tonight. What is it? Denver and Arizona. Not much to talk about here. Now, I will be watching the game because it's the only NFL game on tonight. And to be honest, the Arizona State and Stanford game doesn't really do much for me. I mean, if Stanford loses that game, then I've given up all hope on them. Although Stanford already has lost 2 games. So, I mean, they're out of the real national picture. Anyway, but I am looking forward to seeing Josh Rosen. I haven't seen a single Arizona Cardinals game this year. I'm looking forward to seeing Josh Rosen. He's only been named the starter for the past 2 or 3 weeks, I think. And the Cardinals just aren't good. But I'm looking forward to seeing him mainly. And I'm also looking forward to see if the Broncos get down in the game, will they put in Chad Kelly? Anybody who doesn't know, Chad Kelly originally played for Clemson, got kicked off the team for cussing out Dabo Swinney, and I think he threw something. And of course, he eventually got picked up by Hugh Freeze and Ole Miss and finished out his college career there, and then was a very, very late round draft pick to Denver. Now in the preseason, Chad Kelly, some call him Swag Kelly. I don't like that name. I mean, I don't know why they call him that. But anyway. The guy's kind of a douchebag, to be honest with you. Excuse my French for anybody who's under the age of 18 in here, which I don't think any of you are. I don't really like the guy. But anyway, I'll be looking forward to see if they do put him in, how he does. But, yeah. Sorry, I got one eye on the comments here. Tiger Nation, good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the stream. Yeah. First of all, Chad Kelly... Jim Kelly, the legendary Jim Kelly's, what is he, his nephew? Yeah, I think he's his nephew. Well, unfortunately, being humble and being great does not run in the family, apparently, because Chad Kelly, I mean, he's like Johnny Manziel times 10 as far as his antics go. I mean, the guy's just a total tool. He is a good football player, but he's not near as good as he thinks he is, or near as good as he says he is. Like I said before, I did see him play in the preseason a little bit, and he played great. But that's the preseason. I mean, he's playing against third stringers from other teams, so who really knows how good he is? I know that Spencer from Rover Sports really wants to see Chad Kelly start over Case Keenum, but Case Keenum has actually won meaningful football games in the NFL. Chad Kelly hasn't. I think that Chad Kelly would get absolutely destroyed if they put him in there. But what do I know? Christian Ballard, good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the stream. He says, top 4 predictions for first playoff rankings. Alabama, number 1. Clemson, number 2. Michigan, number 3. Hold on, let me go back up here. Who do you have number 4 there? LSU, number 4. That's a pretty bold prediction there, sir. Well, if Michigan wins out, they're definitely in. I don't think they're going to win out. Hell, they might lose this weekend. But I think they're going to lose at least one more game, probably either to Michigan State or Ohio State, one of those two, which would lead them most likely out of the playoffs. So I don't agree with the Michigan one. LSU, I'm not ready to start saying they're going to make the playoff because they still have to play Alabama, and they've already got a loss also to Florida. So I don't see a 2-loss team getting in. And in my mind, Michigan's going to lose at least one game, and so is LSU. for the rest of the season. So I can't agree with those 3 and 4. But hell, anything's possible, right? Thank you, Michael Brown. I appreciate you for stopping in, sir. Have a great day. Yeah, I was very disappointed that NC State's not a night game. I mean, here we are in week 8, right, of college football, and there hasn't been a single night game in Death Valley. That's a travesty and an embarrassment. Yeah, there will be a night game or two. I think the South Carolina game will be a night game, even though South Carolina's no good. And Florida State we play next week, which that's in Tallahassee, so obviously that doesn't fit in there. And then, I mean, Louisville, which I'm going to. I mean, I hope it's a night game just because I'm going to it, and I love night games in the Valley. But I mean, Louisville's no good. I mean, I can't see them justifying making that a night game unless it's just some sort of scheduling thing on TV where they make it a night game. So really, I don't know what are the chances. Do we play Duke at home this year, or we play at Duke? I can't remember. I think we play at home. That might be a night game. Duke's 5-1. So that brings me to my next thing. So right before I came on the stream today, I watched part of Uncle Lou's video that he posted today for some of the predictions for the games this week. And he mentioned on there, Duke is 5-1. And Duke plays Virginia this week, and Virginia's 4-2. First of all, this is the best Virginia team that we've seen in a decade at least. Duke has been solid every year for a while now with David Cutcliffe, one of my favorite coaches in the country. Duke has actually beat some decent teams. Now Virginia has beat a couple too, but Duke, to start out the season, went and absolutely curb stomped Northwestern, beat them by like 3 touchdowns. Then the very next week, they went on the road to Baylor and beat the crap out of them. I think Duke also beat the crap out of Georgia Tech, which that's not an accomplishment, but I mean, didn't Georgia Tech score like 60 points on Pitt? I mean, a hell of a lot more points on Pitt than Ohio State did. So, yeah, Duke's a good team. That could be a night game if Duke continues to win. If Duke is ranked, and of course if Clemson's undefeated still when we play that game, that probably will be a night game, and that'll be a national game. What's up, Ashton Owens? Good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Otherwise, you would not be here. College Football Battle 2. Welcome, sir. It's possible how the rankings are now could potentially be the actual rankings for the playoff and the first ranks. Yeah. I mean, there's so many different possibilities right now, though, Christian, that, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. It's as good as the guy, next door. I mean, it is what it is. There's so many, there's always some major upsets, especially in the latter part of the season for these top teams. And it's bound to happen. The chances are more likely than not that one of these teams in the top 4, I mean, we saw a bunch of upsets last week in the top 8, right? It's bound to happen that at least one of these teams, probably more than one of these teams in the top 4 are right now, will lose at least one game between now and the end of the season, which will shake everything up. Duke and Louisville, Clemson. Yeah. Tiger Nate asks, Pete, who would you rather see Clemson play for the other side of the ACC championship? That's a good question. I haven't really given much thought to that, to be honest with you. And the main reason is probably because I don't really care. I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk about answering your question. I mean, the same thing when people ask me who would I want to see when we go to the playoff. I don't care. I mean, us being in the playoff is really all I care about. The only opinion I would have on that is I probably would rather not play Alabama in the first round. I'd rather play them in the national title game if we get that far. I'd rather play either Ohio State or Notre Dame or somebody like that in the first round. As far as the ACC title game goes, I mean, the Coastal Division is it's not a good year for them. It's just not. I mean, obviously Miami is underwhelming. They're not as good as I thought they were going to be this year. They got 2 losses, and Virginia Tech, I mean, I don't know. I mean, can Virginia Tech beat Clemson in a big game? I doubt it. You know, I mean, who else in that division? Duke. Duke might be the best team in that division. Seriously, and we got to play them in the regular season. I mean, that potentially could be a rematch. We could play them twice. We could play them in the regular season and maybe again in the ACC title game. I don't really care. I guess. I don't know. I haven't given much thought to it. Yeah. So somebody's saying that we're clearly better than Ohio State. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I will say this, though. So after week 2, we went on the road and we had a very close win. You know, could have lost the game against Texas A&M. And everybody and their mother came out of the woodwork saying Clemson's overrated. You know, Texas A&M's no good. Meanwhile, Texas A&M is good. And I said that after that game. I said, you're going to see Texas A&M is probably going to finish the season a 2-loss team, which I still think is going to happen. Maybe a 3-loss team. They could lose to LSU, but everybody else in their schedule they should beat. But there's a very good possibility they could beat LSU. So if Texas A&M's only 2 losses are to Alabama and Clemson, that's a hell of a good resume coming out of the SEC West. And they'll be a top 15 team, or at least a top 20 at the very worst. But since then, we've seen all these other teams struggle wins against bad teams. I mean, the list goes on and on. I mean, I can name them for you. You all know who they are. I mean, hell, Ohio State really had a struggle win last week against Minnesota at Ohio State. We've seen Penn State have struggle wins. We've seen Notre Dame had a struggle win against Pitt. The only team we haven't seen really have a struggle win is Alabama. And that's why Alabama's, in most people's minds, the best team in the country, including mine right now, you know, as of week 8. So Clemson's not as overrated as everybody thinks they are, and they're only getting better every week, especially the fact that we have such a young team on offense. They're just going to continue to get better. Prince 6'1". Good afternoon, sir. Didn't see you in there until just now. Ace Outlaw, how you doing, sir? Somebody says, have y'all seen the Perry video going viral, the Nkosi Perry video? No. What is that? Now you have sparked my interest with that comment. I have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, I know he's not been named the starter, but what's the video? What did he do? After the loss, he's in a car with a whole bunch of money showing his gold and money. Oh, Lord. The only thing that can make that worse is if he's like smoking a blunt or something too while he's doing all that. Why do these kids do that? Anyway. 2 weeks from Saturday, it's Alabama and LSU. Biggest, toughest game for the Tide. Can't wait. Yes, that's going to be a great game. I'll probably end up streaming that game. Wait. 2 weeks from Saturday. No, I'll be in Louisville. I'll be in Clemson watching the Louisville game in 2 weeks. So that will be the 1 week I'm not doing a live stream during a game because I'll be at a game. But yeah, that'll be a good one. Miranda Dansby. You're already in here. Never mind. She's back, she says. Yeah, that's not a good look. Who has Alabama played? Who has Clemson played? Who have Georgia played? Oh, yeah, Georgia played LSU and got beat. That's right. Forgot about that. Do you think LSU will beat Alabama and pull an Auburn, beat both Georgia and Alabama? No, who asked that? Tiger Nate. I have a rule. I established this rule at the beginning of the football season, and I'm going to stick. I'm very, very hard on my rules. I'm a stickler for my own rules. My rule is I'm not picking against Alabama in any game this year until they lose. So I wouldn't pick them to beat LSU. Can Alabama be beaten by LSU? Yeah, they can. I think it's more likely than not that Alabama's going to be undefeated in the regular season, though. So I'm not picking Alabama to lose anything until it happens. Clemson Carson says, I hope we play more balanced Saturday, throwing the ball and running the ball in even amount. Yeah, Clemson Carson, what I want to see Clemson do for the rest of this year is establish the running game. I want to be very run-heavy the first quarter and a half, or maybe even the whole entire first half. I'm talking about like 75 to 25% run to pass. Pound and punish them on the ground, and that will open up the passing game. And, of course, we've got the passing game to do it. Now, as far as the second half goes, I more balanced in the second half. But what we've been doing up until now, or up until that Wake Forest game 2 weeks ago before the bye, is we were doing that 50% run and pass thing every quarter, no matter what was happening. And in a couple of games we got behind, especially the Syracuse game. So, and then we started running it. I mean, really run heavy in the fourth quarter, and that's how we had to come back to win. So I'd rather establish the run early and pass later than do the opposite. But then again, as everybody always points out to me, video after video, stream after stream, you're not who'd you ever coach? Whoever hired you as a football coach? What do you know? You don't know what you're talking about. Did you ever play football at a high level? So clearly, I don't know what I'm talking about. So your guess is as good as mine because I have no clue. I've never watched a football game before. I've certainly never watched a Clemson game before. It's the first. The Syracuse game was the first Clemson game I ever watched in my life. What game will I stream on Saturday? I'm streaming the Clemson and NC State game because I think that's the best game this week in the country. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased as a Clemson fan, and obviously, I have reservations about calling Clemson games. I did the Texas A&M and Clemson game live on the air, and that was. I'm not gonna lie. That was a little bit rough for me to do that, especially as close as it was. But I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna say, the hell with it. I'm gonna do it, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, if things go well, that's all I can say. There's another good game though, but I think it's late at night, and that's going to be the Washington State and Oregon game, which I'm fascinated with Oregon this year. Fascinated with them for some reason. That's one of the teams. I don't pay much attention to the Pac-12 teams. First of all, because they've been so terrible the past few years, and a lot of those games up until this year are on so late at night. I might catch the first half before I pass out, but I'm fascinated with Oregon, so I'm looking forward to watching that one. Jamie McCaslin, good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the stream. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Otherwise, you would not be here. So Jamie and, of course, Ace, and we've got other ones. We've got plenty of other I've got lots of Miami fans that watch my channel and subscribe to me. And I'm very appreciative of that because I spent the better half of the last year completely trashing Miami for my own benefit more than anything. Just to get under their skin. And but anyways, what I'm getting at is I've been seeing, of course, Alonzo1219 is my go-to YouTuber as far as Miami football goes, and he's about ready to pull his hair out. So I've been watching his streams. I mean, he is pissed. He wants Mark Richt fired. He never liked Mark Richt in the first place. There seems to be a split in the fan base over the N'Kosi Perry and Malik Rozier. Not Rozier, Rozier, apparently. So Rozier is going to be the starter this week. Perry got benched last week. Rozier came in. Neither one of them played good. They got beat by Virginia, obviously. So there's a lot going on at Miami right now. As far as the fan base goes, they seem to be split. The media is giving them hell. You've got recruits. From what I'm hearing from people like Alonzo, is you got recruits that aren't happy with the way things are going there and starting to consider going other places. So there's a lot going on at Miami right now. And I'll tell you what, Mark Richt better get that thing fixed or there's going to be a full-blown mutiny on his hands. Malik Rozier is the Miami starting quarterback against Boston College. Yeah. Kosi is better than Malik. I know I'm way behind in these comments, guys. I'm trying not to miss them. because I get a lot of people saying sometimes I do these streams, I'll go back and rewatch it just to read the comments because I miss a lot of them. And I see people on there, hey, read my comment. Why are you ignoring me? I know the normal people here don't do that, but a lot of people do. I'm not ignoring anybody ever on purpose. It's just, there's a lot going on here. Trying to do this, and I'm going to miss stuff. So I'm behind in the comments because I'm trying to not miss stuff. If that makes any sense. What's up, Dennis Wilson? Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the stream. Yes, I do rub rocks and run ramps. And I am a clown. You are right on all three accounts, sir. I'm a rock, rubber, ramp runner till the day I die. Prince 6'1" says you're a better man than me, Pete. If I live stream a close Clemson game, then my account would be taken down. Yeah, that was the FBI would raid my house. That was the challenge for me last time. It was a challenge. I had to keep it all under wraps, and I'm pretty sure as soon as I turned the stream off, I just let it all out. Even though we won the game, I still had a lot of pent up anger inside. Yeah. Don't worry about Miami clowns. Well, I'm not worried about Miami. Miami's not my team, Dennis. So I'll leave all the worrying to you. I'm just an objective observer, and I'm objectively observing right now. That's what I'm doing to the best of my ability, and I'm doing pretty damn good at it too, by the way. Right on time, folks. Clemson is so lame, says Dennis Wilson. Don't you wish you were lame, sir? Don't you wish that you were lame enough to win national titles in the past 30 years, 20 years? When was the last time Miami won a title? I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to shun you. I don't want to say it's been 30 years when it's only been 25. Stuff like that. I'm trying to be accurate here. Ace Outlaws. At least my Dolphins are looking good. Yeah, that's one of the biggest shocks of the NFL. You guys won a game last week with Brock Osweiler. I mean, who in the hell would have figured that? How many people lost money on that game? If I'd have bet money on that game, I'd have lost it. I know that much. Good thing I don't bet. Rick says all MFers need Jesus, me included. Yes, Ashton, I am a diehard Carolina Panther fan. Yes, I am. Dennis Wilson says Clemson hasn't done anything one natty out of 10 years. Sir, where Dennis Wilson. I know you're trolling and trying to bait me, sir. I'm not taking the bait this time. It's just, that's a ridiculous statement to make from a Miami fan. Hell, you don't even have an ACC title in the past 20 years, let alone a national title in the past 10. Remember how Dennis and literally thousands of Miami's fans spent the whole offseason running their mouths? Poor fellas already got 2 losses. Well, I won't put all Miami fans in that category. Dennis Wilson, yes. I mean, he's the most outspoken one. I do know some actual sensible Miami fans though, and they don't talk like Dennis. But Dennis is very hard to figure out. Sometimes he's very good at trolling. Other times he's a massive failure. Today he's failing miserably. I mean, is there you can get A-, B-, C-, D-. Once you get to F, there's no going lower than an F, is there? There's no such thing as an F-. F means failing. Well, today, Dennis has an F-. He has done the impossible, folks. He has done worse than fail. He's taking after his football team. So let's talk about where's that thing I had written down? You guys know I have the memory of a cockroach. If I don't write stuff down, I completely forget everything. So this is what happens when you have kids and you leave stuff laying around. Damn it. Well, I'll be punishing some kids later. I know that much. Somebody walked off with my notes. But I don't need notes to talk about two games this week that I'm going to keep an eye on. Purdue and Ohio State. Where's my Ohio State people at? Normally I've got them in here chirping. Where's B Spooky at? I haven't seen B Spooky in here in a while. Of course, a Pac fan 12. He's a Purdue fan and an Oklahoma fan, but he's also a Purdue fan. I'd like to see those two argue. Who else thinks that there's a pretty good chance that Purdue could beat Ohio State this week? Anybody in here who thinks that Ohio State should be on upset alert against Purdue? This game's in Purdue this weekend, by the way. Everybody who thinks this the same way as I do, raise your hand. I'll go ahead and raise my hand for you. Raise your hand in the chat. The plant on the hold on, what was that? The plant on the Ohio State helmet is cocaine. All right, so we've got a couple of raised hands here. Ashton also raises. Ashton, are you a? I'm assuming Ashton's a guy. I'm assuming. Last time I assumed, I was wrong. So that's 3. We got a thumbs up there. Yeah, we got another one. So yeah, I think everyone agrees with me. Okay, Ashton, I got you. Yeah, I agree. Here's the thing. I watched the Minnesota game last week with Ohio State. Minnesota, I mean, they look like a Kansas City Chiefs offense against Ohio State's defense. I thought Ohio State was supposed to have one of the best defenses in the country coming into the year, and they got torched, man. They were lucky to win that game. The only reason Ohio State did win that game is because they've got a really good offense, and they've got a good quarterback, and they're loaded on offense, and they're able to outscore people who are lesser opponents. But, running between the tackles, Minnesota's running backs were getting 5, 6, 7 yards on every single carry. They were running these 7, 8-yard slant routes and just killing them. Just running down the field. They had a couple of, times where they were in the red zone that Minnesota didn't score. Something happened, either a turnover or they missed a field goal or something. But that game was a lot closer than it looked at the end of the game. And Purdue started out the season looking bad. Looking real bad. Everyone's like, what happened to Purdue? Like, they're one of the worst teams in the country. Turns out Purdue's not that bad. Purdue has one of the highest scoring offenses in the country. And if you're Ohio State, that should worry you, because Ohio State has been able to play teams and outscore them. Well, Purdue can score. So this game is going to be close, I think. I think it's going to be close. I'm talking about less than a touchdown close, no matter who wins. So we'll see what happens. And Bosa's leaving. That's what the Ohio State fans are doing. They're blaming the defense all on Bosa. Well, if one player going down on your defense means that your defense is terrible, then you've got more problems than you thought. Yes, he's a great player. Yes, he's a game changer. But he's still just one guy. And plus, he plays defensive end. He doesn't play in the middle of that line where they're running the ball down your throat. And that's what people are doing. They're running the ball down Ohio State's throat. So, if you're an Ohio State fan, be very worried. And if you're an Ohio State fan, be very worried about, even if you get through Purdue like you should, be very worried about Michigan. That's right. I said it. That's right, I said it. It almost hurt my throat to say that. Because nobody is I was about to say more. Nobody is less of a believer in Jim Harbaugh than Pigskin Pete is. But I got news for you. Michigan's a better football team than Ohio State right now. I'm sure nobody heard me say that. Michigan's a better football team than Ohio State right now. So there's a nightmare scenario for Ohio State. One is they lose this weekend. Two is they don't lose, but they lose to Michigan, and Michigan wins out, and then Michigan wins the Big Ten. Another nightmare scenario for the Big Ten as a whole is that both Ohio State and Michigan lose this week. That's a real nightmare. Because then, if that does happen, which I don't know, I mean, the chances of them both losing is probably pretty slim, but if it happened, that means that if Michigan beat Ohio State, then there's not a Big Ten team in the playoff this year. They'll get left out again. So even if you're an Ohio State fan, you're rooting for Michigan to win this week. Prince, 1, eats Ohio State plant. 2, has a fake heart attack. 3, goes home to beat his wife and kick the dog. Sadly, that's kind of accurate. I don't think you're too far off there. Yeah, Billy Dawson, Purdue's offense is legit. I got news for anybody in the country right now. Purdue is a trap game for any top 10 team. If you're in the Big Ten or even not in the Big Ten, you don't want to see Purdue on your schedule between now and the end of the year. I promise you don't. You know who they remind me of? They're like Pitt, and believe me, Purdue is better than Pitt, this year. But Pitt is an all or nothing team. Pitt can get blown out by 50 points, or they can beat a top 5 team on any given week. You don't never know who you're going to get. They're like a boxer who has no real actual skill, but he's just big and strong and can knock you out with one punch and throws haymakers the whole fight. That's what Purdue is, and that's what Pitt is. They can knock you out any given week. More than likely, they're going to get beat. But if you get caught slipping, they might throw that haymaker punch and knock you out. That's Purdue, and that's Pitt. Wrong on purpose. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the stream. The artist formerly known as Drake Luke is in the house, everybody. Well, you always come in. You must have school or something, sir. You always come here towards the end of the stream, and you always miss me talking and hyping up your Oregon Ducks. LSU fan, good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the stream. He says, I don't know about that. I don't know about, you don't know about what? What don't you know about? Chances are, if you don't know about it, I do. I'm just kidding. Drake Luke, wrong on purpose. I am so intrigued with your team, sir. I'm dying to actually do a Oregon game. So I wanted to do the Oregon and Stanford game. I promoted it. I planned on doing it, and then my Mrs. Peete reminded me that I had my son's birthday party that night and I had to reschedule and do a noon game that day. So I was kind of disappointed that I had to miss that one. And, of course, this week is another big game for Oregon. You're playing Washington State. That's where game day is. But unluckily for Oregon, Clemson's got their biggest game of the year at 3:30, and so I'm doing that game. We're running out of great games for Oregon to play for me to stream, but I really want to do one before the end of the year. I love Clemson Carson says Justin Herbert's the real deal. I love Justin Herbert. There's like 3 or 4 quarterbacks that I love watching in college football this year. Trace McSorley, Justin Herbert. Who else? Ryan Finley, who obviously Clemson's playing on Saturday. And who's the other one I'm thinking of? I guess that's it. I mean, obviously my team's quarterback, but that doesn't count. There's one I'm missing. I can't think of it. Yeah, Tua. Definitely Tua. I mean, he's fun to watch anyway. He's not one of the ones I'm thinking about, though. How about Oregon and Arizona State or Utah? Yeah, Oregon hasn't played Utah yet. I thought they played already. Let's see. All right, see you later, Ashton. Thank you for stopping in, and have a great day. Deluxe 53, welcome to the stream. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Otherwise, you would not be here. Deluxe 53 says he's still salty about the Georgia and LSU game. So obviously you're a Georgia fan. I'd be salty about it too. You're seeing the same thing go down right now. Not the same thing, because Miami and Georgia aren't in the same situation national picture wise. But you're seeing the same sort of thing. There's a lot of teams out there this year. So this happened earlier. Luckily, Clemson got their quarterback controversy out of the way early in the year. Everybody knows about it. I'm not going to go through the whole thing again. Trevor Lawrence, Kelly Bryant. Kelly Bryant gets benched for Lawrence as a starter. Kelly Bryant leaves. Of course, before the season started, we had the Tua and the Jalen Hurts situation. Of course, N'Kosi Perry and Malik Rozier at Miami. That's an ongoing situation that's not looking good. The fan base is split on. And of course, Georgia is now having a controversy of their own. Now, you wouldn't know there's a controversy as far as inside of the program, because the coaches haven't really mentioned any sort of inkling that they want to bench Fromm, and I don't think they will. But a lot of the fans want them to. And rightly so. I mean, I watched that game in LSU, and Fromm, I'm sorry, he did not play well. But that's my opinion. So there's a lot of teams with these controversies with the quarterbacks right now. I feel fortunate at this point that Clemson's ended up the way it did. I mean, I'm happy that it's over with. It was over with after starting week 4, and now we're moving on to the rest of the season. A lot of these other schools, man, they're still going through it. And then you don't want to be having these controversies at the end of the year. It's better to get it out of the way early, in my opinion. First Down says, get over it. Must be an LSU fan. College Football Battle says, I got Michigan on upset alert at Michigan State. Yes, that's definitely. There's 2 teams in the Big Ten that need to be watching out for upset alerts. And listen, I'm a Clemson homer. I'll put them in that category because I've been saying it since before the season. All right, so I put Clemson in the upset alert category. Clemson, but Clemson, here's the difference though. I don't think Clemson is looking past NC State. I mean, Clemson's taking this game very seriously. I mean, NC State is an undefeated football team with an NFL quarterback. So I don't know if you can call it a trap game, and it's in Clemson, but it's still a very important game that needs to be won. Michigan State, very winnable game for Michigan State, especially considering Jim Harbaugh's record against Mark. Every time I can never remember his first name, D'Antonio. But every time I say it wrong, and people point that out in my comment section. So I'm just going to call him Coach D'Antonio or M. D'Antonio from now on. That's it. Mark, I don't know what it is. I don't care. And, of course, Purdue and Ohio State, which we already talked about in length. All right, see you later, Clemson Carson. Thanks for stopping in, sir. First Down says UGA might make the SEC East, not Florida or Kentucky. I don't know what you meant there. I think what you're saying is you think that UGA is going to win the East. Is that what you're saying? I don't know. I still think so too, but it's very possible that that Georgia gets into a situation where they're playing Florida for the first place in the East. I mean, that head-to-head means everything. That's a huge game. Huge game. Okay, so Harbaugh has one win against Michigan State, 2016. So this is his fourth year. So he's 1-2 against Michigan State. Yeah, so it's a losing record. Yeah, but I got you. He's got a losing record in Michigan State. He's got a losing record to Penn State, right? Or is he? Yeah, he's got a losing record to Penn State, and he hasn't beaten Ohio State yet. So he's over. I mean, as far as beating his rival teams and the big boys in that division, he's over. He's not doing well. He can change that this year. He's still got all those games ahead of him. If he beats Michigan State, goes out, beats Penn State, and then of course, he'll have his chance to save face by beating Ohio State. Even if he beats 2 out of those 3 teams, that's a major step forward. From what's been going on the first 3 years there. Kentucky is on upset alert against Vandy. Yeah, Vandy's another one of those teams that can beat somebody. Kentucky's very good, but they're one-dimensional. But Vandy's still Vandy. I mean, I realize Vandy played great last week, but they're still Vandy. I mean, I don't know. I still have to pick Kentucky to win that game. But yeah, that game could easily go either way. I wouldn't. That's not an easy win for anybody, let alone Kentucky. Richard Neal says, yes, I said it, and yes, I'm crazy. That makes 2 of us, sir. Tiger Nation. That's true, Pete. We need to settle our quarterback quick to get the rhythm we have going on now. Yeah. And I'm confident from what I've seen since Syracuse, which we've only had one game since Syracuse for me to give my opinion on, but still, I was happy to see that they were very run heavy in that game, and that opened up a lot for Trevor, and they took a lot of pressure off of him, and that's what we really need to be doing. Clemson is a running team right now, at least right now. Will we be a running team week 10, week 11? I don't know. Things change as Trevor Lawrence gets more comfortable running the offense, as the young receivers get more comfortable with Trevor. Things change. But right now, we've got the backs to absolutely punish everybody on our schedule and make them respect the run. And when people have to respect the run and load the box, good things happen. So I'm confident that the Dabo Swinney and those guys on the offense are gonna do that. But we'll see. Vandy is good, but I think Kentucky beats them unless rat poison. Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Tiger Nate. We're working towards that, I think. I agree. Great point, Billy Dawson. I've been screaming that since week 2. Yeah, even when Kelly Bryant was a starter. I mean, if you can run it down people's throat, I mean, you can control the clock. You can wear the defense out. And it just causes all kinds of problems, especially if you have a quarterback that can pass, can move the ball down the field. That's the difference between Trevor and Kelly. I mean, we could run the ball all we wanted to with Kelly, but they still didn't respect the pass. They could just load the box. Now, if they load the box to stop our running attack, then Trevor's just gonna, he's gonna throw bombs all day and destroy you on the back end. So it's a huge thing to be able to run the ball. Huge. LSU fan, have I listened to the Carter 5, Pete? No, I haven't. I'm honest. I'm not a huge Lil Wayne fan. I'm more old school, sir. As far as rap goes, I'm not a big Lil Wayne fan. Sorry, I'm not. Kelly going to be at the Hog game, by the way. Yes, thank you for bringing that up. Kelly Bryant is doing an official visit to Arkansas this week. Now, we all saw that coming, didn't we? And finally, Kelly Bryant came out to the media and did what he should have done weeks ago and say, he's not salty about Clemson. He appreciates everything they did for him. He's saying all the right things. But, yeah, he's going to visit Arkansas and Chad Morris. Chad Morris is the one that originally recruited Kelly Bryant to Clemson before he left. But, again, I think that he's going to visit probably, I don't know, half a dozen more schools between now and when he makes his decision at least. So, yeah. There is a very good possibility that he could go to Arkansas because of his relationship with Chad Morris, but I wouldn't bet on it right now, just because of the state of Arkansas's program. I haven't said that. I don't know. I mean, Chad Morris could be he could do very well at talking Bryant into coming there. I mean, I don't know what kind of relationship those two have. They could be pretty tight, and that could be the difference maker. So if you're an Arkansas fan. First of all, if you're an Arkansas fan, you want Kelly Bryant. He'd be the best quarterback you've had in the past 20 years at Arkansas. And he'll make that offense immediately much, much better than what it is right now. But you also got to surround the guy with an offensive line and some skill position players on that offense to make him better. So I don't know. But I wouldn't be upset to see Kelly Bryant go to Arkansas, really. Because I'm a fan of Chad Morris, and I'm a fan of Kelly Bryant, to be honest with you. So I would like to see him go there and do well, but I also don't want to see him go there and just get absolutely slaughtered because the rest of the team's no good. That wouldn't be no fun. Yeah, exactly, Richard. If he had 2 years left, Arkansas would probably be a great fit. But with 1 year, I don't know. I'm not betting on it. Yeah, I'd like to go on these Vegas betting line websites and see all these crazy things. I mean, you can go on these websites right now and there'll be odds of which school Kelly Bryant's going to go to. Hell, there'll be odds already of whether or not Jalen Hurts is going to transfer, and if he does, where they're going, and you can bet on it. I'd be interested to see what the most likely schools on those in Vegas is. I'm sure Arkansas is right up there at the top. I would have to imagine Auburn probably is too. Penn State, NC State. We've been through this before. I know Billy Dawson's been looking at it. I think Penn State's a very interesting place for him to go. Oklahoma's another one. That might be more of a dark horse because they have a hot shot recruit coming in at quarterback next year, but he's still going to be a true freshman. And believe me, Kelly Bryant. I almost wouldn't mind seeing that. Can you imagine Kelly Bryant in the Big 12? I think he would do, stat-wise, he'd do great. Because, I mean, we all know the defenses in the Big 12, for the most part, aren't very good. And the skill positions on Oklahoma's offense are going to be off the charts. He'll have a running game. He'll have every receiver he needs. And, yeah, I mean, I think that he would do well at Oklahoma. Yeah, no, Jalen Hurts is a junior, so he has one more year after this year. Jalen Hurts is transferring. I'm sorry to tell everybody. I'm sorry. I know Alabama fans. I don't know how Billy feels about it either way, but believe me, Alabama fans think that Jalen Hurts is somehow going to, he just wants to be an Alabama guy for the rest of his career there. No, he doesn't. He wants to start. He's transferring. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm about 99% sure that Jalen Hurts will not be wearing an Alabama uniform next year. Prove me wrong. Yes, he's a junior. Hurts is a junior. Christian Ballard, I know how the season is going down. Ask me how. Well, I'm asking you now, sir. How's it going down? Okay, Billy. Billy's more up to date on these things than me. He says Penn State's more likely to lure him because Oklahoma's got a hot shot coming in, freshman. Tiger Nation says he would have 1,000 yards rushing in the Big Ten. I think maybe you're saying the Big 12. I'm still waiting on Christian Ballard to tell me how the season's going to go down. I'm riveted. I can't even wait. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. Brandon Rogers, good afternoon. Welcome to the stream. I'm sure if you're here, you're amazing and fantastic. Otherwise, you would not be here. Unfortunately, Brandon, you are about an hour late because I've actually got to get off the stream now. 5 o'clock. But thank you for stopping in. And once this video uploads to YouTube, you can always watch it again. And actually, I'd appreciate that. So thank you to, again, like I said at the beginning of the stream, thank you, first of all, to everybody, not just the moderators, not just the, hold on, let me read this comment real quick before I get off. Tua is obviously the starter, making Jalen the backup. Alabama will make the playoff, and Hurts will be there. Everyone will watch Alabama play this year and see Tua. Yeah, okay. We're talking about, Christian, we're talking about next year. Next year, Hurts is going to transfer. After the season's over, whether an Alabama wins a national title or not, Hurts is gone. Cancel Christmas, buy him a plane ticket, send him a goodbye gift because he's gone. Sorry. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings or burst your bubble or all of the above. All right, so thank you to everybody for the past year on YouTube. It's been an amazing ride. It's been great. Much better than I ever expected that it would be, and it's all because of every single one of you and not because of me. There's a link to the Patreon for anybody who wants to sign up for that in the description. I will be back. If I don't see you between now and then, Saturday afternoon, the big game, Clemson and NC State, the battle of the undefeateds in the ACC Atlantic Division. I'm looking forward to it. You all should be looking forward to it too. If you hate Clemson, you should be looking forward to it because you hope Clemson's going to lose. If you love Clemson, you should be looking forward to it because it's Clemson. If you hate me, you should be looking forward to it because you get to come on here and tell me how much you hate me. If you love me, you should be looking forward to it because you get to come on here and tell me how much you love me. Thank you, everybody. Great show today. Great show today. I mean, fantastic. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you again. Pigskin Pete, checking out.